Welcome to Leadership Fundamentals with Dave Evans. Dave is a leading authority on building winning teams. Combining a mix of professional leadership development and business strategy, he works with professionals like you to lead with character, lead with passion, and win. Every professional knows that greatness comes to those who master the fundamentals. Hey everybody, welcome to Leadership Fundamentals. I am Dave Evans, and most of you may or may not know me, but I've had a wonderful life and experience leading thousands of young men and women and training them in how to be great leaders. As a matter of fact, most of the guys that I had the privilege of leading in my life have gone on to be hugely successful, and now I share this with the rest of the world. Leadership Fundamentals is about making you a better leader and making you understand that's the fundamentals that matter. Think about it. Every professional athlete out there has a coach. They work on fundamentals constantly. And if you don't understand the fundamentals of leadership and practice them every day, how are you ever going to be great at what you do and be a better leader? The foundation of all this is simple. It's about your culture. You define your culture through values, expectations, and empowering your people to do great things. This weekend was a great example of what happens when you've established a great culture. Trevor Boykin from Texas Christian University this weekend made a huge mistake, got arrested in San Antonio during pregame events for the Alamo Bowl. Now, he made a number of mistakes. First and foremost, he came in for curfew, then left again and went out to a bar. A fan from another team gave him a hard time, and he responded to their reaction. But the beauty of it was when he made a mistake and his teammates tried to help him and he got arrested, the coach made the ultimate decision and benched him. Gary Patterson is an example of a man who understands leadership, understands how to mentor and manage young people and help them grow to do great things. I cannot tell you how thrilled I was to see Coach Patterson do what he did and then watch TCU come back against Oregon on Saturday night and beat a team that they were down to by more than 3 touchdowns at halftime. Came back and beat him in 3 overtimes. That is great leadership. That is great mentorship, and that is developing a team. What you need to understand about leadership as you step out and guide and lead your team is that, simply put, leadership is about you. Remember, attitude reflects leadership. When your company, your organization, your team is failing, you have to look in the mirror first. You have to understand what you're doing wrong in order to understand what needs to be fixed. I can tell you, blessed as I was to be a squadron commander and command thousands of young people in the Air Force, the greatest lesson I learned was taught to me by a 3-star general. He said this. He said, you're going to take over an organization. It's going to be the greatest thing you do in your life. And he was right. It was the greatest thing that I'd ever done in my life. But what he said was, a year into your command tour, I want you to take a look at the organization. I want you to pull the team into the room and understand where the organization is failing. I want you to then look in the mirror. My guess is you're going to find the areas your organization is struggling in are the same areas that you are weak in. Well, I did that. And he was absolutely right. The areas we were weak in were the areas I was personally weak in. So how do you fix that? How do you make yourself better? And how do you improve what you do to be a great leader? It's really simple. You surround yourself with people that are great at what you're not great at. And then you empower them. You let them go. This goes into the foundation of leadership fundamentals. You've taken over a new organization. You're leading a bunch of people. You're a mid-level manager in a cubicle, and your team is struggling. What are your values? What expectations have you set? What are your boss's expectations? And how have you empowered your team? And how have you been empowered? If you do not establish those 3 fundamentals and as the foundation of your culture and your organization, you're going to struggle and you're lost. I don't know how many times I've talked to people and teams about the lack of culture, the lack of values, the lack of setting expectations, and the inability for micromanagers to empower their team and let them go do what they do best. So it's really simple, folks. The start of leadership fundamentals is about setting values, setting expectations, and empowering the team to do its best. I think Gary Patterson proved that this weekend with the Horned Frogs. I mean, come on, the second string quarterback went in, The team knew what the values were. They knew what the expectation was. And Coach Patterson put the number 2 guy on the field to start and let him win the game. Let him do his job. I can't tell you how thrilled I was to see that. Well, I don't see a lot of you out here, and I'd love to hear your questions. So as you get those, go on and post them online, and we'll go through those questions. One of the things I want you to understand is that I'm looking for your input. So if you're out there and you have comments or inputs for us and questions about leadership, please send them to us. Send them to me via Twitter @TheBoldLeader. That would be awesome. I would appreciate that. And we can stay in touch and start the conversation to help us all be better leaders and better understand what needs to be done to be successful. This has been the first episode of Leadership Fundamentals. Stay in touch. We'll do this again. I look forward to hearing from all of you. I like to keep these short, about 10 to 15 minutes, unless we have lots of questions. Have a great day and a great week. And remember, it's about the fundamentals.